Here's a question for you. Have you ever come across a word in English and you have no idea how to read it? Today, we're dropping the dime on you. We've bought you a beautiful gift. Welcome to ibcway.com, where English is never scary, but always fun and easy. Okay, folks, before we begin, there's one thing we have to get out of the way. Your mouth, you have to know, is an instrument. And you can get any sound of it that you want. However, you have to practice. Because if you have a Frenchy mouth, oui, Paris, je ne sais pas, you cannot expect to have English sound out of it. Or if you have a Spanish mouth, oye, como está, mira, ven acá, you cannot expect to have the correct English sound. You have to practice. And only repetition can get you there. All right? We have to get this out of the way. You may have the technique. Without the practice, you won't have the sound that you need. Real talk, folks. Listen up. Words of languages are made up of what? Of sound, okay? The English language only uses 44 distinct sounds to create all words they use, both old and new. Even the ones they've borrowed from other languages. That's when you say touché. And that's the one that they've borrowed from French. Towards the end of the 19th century, the International Phonetic Alphabet has devised standardized symbols to represent each sound. And the smallest unit of sound is called a phoneme. One of the most widely used IPA charts of the 44 phonemes of the English language has been designed by Adrian Underhill. It features 20 vowel sounds and 24 consonant sounds. The vowel sounds are divided into 12 monophthongs and 8 diphthongs, and they're all color-coded. American English only uses 16 vowel sounds. Some say even 18. The consonants are divided into 8 voiced consonants and 8 voiceless consonants and 8 other consonants. Like a baby who started to hear the beautiful sounds of words from the mother's womb, we shall meticulously examine each of the 44 distinct sounds to learn English like a newborn and speak it like a native. What a small price to pay to quickly boost your English fluency. To help you become intimately familiar with each of the 44 phonemes, we will create a video for each of the 44 basic sounds of English. Help us increase our subscriptions. In this lesson, we're only going to introduce the 44 basic units of sound in English, otherwise known as the 44 phonemes of English. Now, it may not be obvious at first, okay, but if you spend the time to know these sounds individually, it will boost your confidence. When you pronounce a word, you will know that you have the correct sound. If someone doesn't understand, it's not because you've said it wrong, it's maybe they haven't heard you and you can repeat yourself. That will give you the confidence. So we're only introducing them. And afterwards, we're going to have a video for each one of them separately. So be patient and practice, practice, and practice again. Spoken English requires the following two pieces of information simultaneously. 1. You have to know first which one of the three vowel sounds to use for the syllable, and then which syllable in the word is stressed. Without that, you may be in trouble. You may be changing meanings of words without knowing it. And for instance, imagine trying to say you're going to the beach. If you use the wrong E sound, you may be insulting someone and get slapped. In other words, if you want to cover with a sheet, you know a sheet is not a shit, if you know what I mean. Well, you have to excuse me a little bit. My examples may be a little strong, but I want you to know this. That's very, very serious, right? So if you bought something, you cannot say you bought. Bought and boat are different. The I, and the A sounds are different. A bit is not a bite, and it's certainly not a bait. All right? A bait is to trap. A bite is when you hurt somebody. A bit is a piece of something. All right? Like we love to say in America, keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It's just an expression. For us, it's as easy as 1 to 3, all right? When you have a vowel in front of you, you really have only 3 options. Either you pronounce it as a schwa, or as a short vowel sound, or as a long vowel sound. There's nothing to it. We've made a couple of videos on these issues. The first one is 12 tips to help you stress the right syllable in English. And the second video is 10 tips to help you choose the right vowel sound every time. Situation, for example, the one that is stressed is A, situation, because there's a rule that says all words ending in T-I-O-N, the syllable that's stressed is the one before last. See, we have rules for that. Well, you don't study that in academia, but spoken English, you can learn these rules to give you confidence. Okay, so words are made up of syllables, and then those syllables, you have to know how to say them, and then which one to stress. Which one to stress, meaning saying longer and louder. You don't have to scream it out, but you just stretch it a little bit, all right? We're going to learn to speak English with the smallest unit of sound, all right? One sound at a time. As a teacher, instructor, coach, one of my favorite quotes is from Dr. Deming's, "Best efforts will not substitute for knowledge." Knowledge requires exactness through science, art, or experience. If you really want to gain the knowledge you need, you have to practice so that it becomes yours. We bring that to you. Practice, you're going to have the English that you need to succeed, to conversate, for research, to travel, communicate. But we have the method, but you need to bring in the effort. So best efforts will not substitute for knowledge. I love this quote. I usually start my classes with that. Intelligence is not enough. To understand and be understood by natives, you have to put in the effort. Period. There's no way around that, folks. Knowledge will only get you there sooner. We highly recommend you to use the application created by the British Council. And this application only does one thing. Every time you touch it, you're going to hear the particular sound that you touch. I've downloaded it on both Apple and Android, so you should just search it in your on your device and download it. It's free. So, for instance, if you press this little arrow there, you're going to be hearing a sound, and then you can play, and then also the arrow actually gives you 3 examples, 3 words with that particular sound. But if you hit directly here, you're going to hear the sound. So you can practice the vowels, and then the diphthongs, and then and then the consonants. When you practice in the consonants, we recommend that you do it in pair, because you have we're going to get into it later on, voiced and consonants as opposed to voiceless consonants. Now we see the entire phonetic chart here, where you have all the 44 sounds. We've used the Adrian Underhill display, and the different charts we've used are the phonetic chart from the British Council, of course, for the sound, and we prefer to use the British chart because it's more complete than the American chart. And we use Adrian Underhill's display, and the third one we use Scott Thornberry 2010 phonemic chart for North American English, just to compare so that we know exactly what we're doing. Okay, so if you hang with us, make sure whenever you need to pause that video and then apply what you need to. Okay, as you can see, it uses 4 less vowel sounds, and it uses 16. That's why we've used the British ones with the 44. We find it more balanced, more complete. Although some of the sounds, they just switched. They almost use the same number of sounds. They just they call them differently. Even the symbols are somewhat different. So we're gonna compare them for you, and you're gonna see how different it is. Okay, let's take a look at that one. This one, I've added numbers to the different sounds, and the ones with the red stars are the ones that are not reflected in the American side of vowel chart. Okay, now these sounds are not reflected there. Like, as you can see, some of them are kind of different, like the schwa here. That's very important. You have those 2 symbols. Like, they give you the example, I don't know, it's kind of small, if you can see, it's data, and here is ago for the schwa. The schwa is a sound that doesn't exist in French, for instance. It's similar to the sound of French, right? As you can see, number 1, that's the E sound that corresponds. Number 2, the I sound, the short I, and then U, and then U. So the other ones, they match. The one that's kind of strange is this symbol here. They represented by that one. As you can see, quat, and this is, the British would pronounce this as hot. Okay, so we're not getting into the details. You can pause it, look at it, and then know that these sounds are not there. We're going to pronounce each sound for you afterwards. So this one is ear, and then ua, and then air, and then a. Now we're looking at that chart. I've added, that's my contribution to it. I use Adrian Underhill's display, and I've just added those numbers on them. All right, so these numbers will help us identify them, get a little more intimate with the different sounds. Okay, one thing you need to understand also is the chart is created very systematically. So especially for the vowels, and also don't forget, without a vowel there's no sound. So the most important part of that chart is the 20 vowel sounds, and within those 20 vowel sounds you have really 11, according to my experience, that are critical. The other ones are combinations of those 11 ones, right? So we'll get into them in detail when we get there, but I just wanted to point out here the positioning of the tongue and the mouth based on where the sound is located in the chart. All right, so you see the rows indicates how wide the mouth should be open, and the columns indicates the position of the tongue, whether it's in front, in the middle, or in the back. All right. We have some videos on it from the British Council explaining all that. You can spend some time to do that. You don't want to spend too much time because we're not linguists. But this is critical information. We need to know how the sounds operate, how they go together to be able to pronounce them with confidence. Okay. Now, like I said, whether you have an American style, British style, or Australian, Canadian, is really not relevant, because what's important here is communication, proper stressing and proper pronunciation of syllables. Now, when you get to the consonant parts, remember, like it said, those that are colored in light green, they're voiceless consonants. The ones in brighter greens are voiced consonants. What that means is when you pronounce them, your Adam's apple will vibrate. All right, like if you say p, the sounds for p is p, there's no vibration, but the ones for b, 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 if you say it correctly, you're gonna feel a vibration. Like look at the th, with the one represented by that symbol is, and the other one is z. There's a vibration, right? So, okay, very, very, very interesting. A lot of people neglect that, and the key's right there in front of them. They just don't know how to use them. I'm bringing them to you. I'm putting it all together. You may find pieces here and there, but in this channel, we're gonna bring you everything you need to be able to speak properly. You need English. English is not just a fantasy. This is something you need for research, for reading, for job, for selling, for doing business, etc. So stay with us. We'll give you all the English you need to succeed. That's our purpose. English for business, all right? Business English as a second language. We have 20 years experience doing that. We just want to share that with everybody, okay? But we'd like to get, spread the words for us. That's how you can encourage us, by subscribing and then, watching our videos, and then give us suggestions. You can, put your comments, how this has helped you, and if you need something else, you let us know. We'll bring it up for you as well. All right. Now, we're going to start with the introduction. Now, like I said, for the vowel sounds, we used the 20 vowel sounds from the IPA charts used by the British one, and the Americans only has 16. So here we go. Take a look. Get familiar with them. Okay, number 1, E as in see. Number 2, I as in his. A lot of French speakers and Spanish speakers also, they confuse that. They pronounce it as E, but it's closer to a I, like than E, right? So you say his. But unfortunately, if you say he's, you're going to hear he's, but the native speakers, they actually say his. Number 3, this one also causes trouble because a lot of people pronounce it as oo, but it's closer to a long O. Put. Okay, it's not the oo sound. That's why it's important to get very familiar with them. Okay, here comes the oo. Number 4, that's the oo sounds, right? That's the symbol for the oo sounds. Number 4, that's oo as in 2. Number 5, when it comes to IPA, when you're in the IPA symbols, you see this, it's really eh, all right, like eh sounds. Number 6, that's the mighty schwa sounds. That's the most widely used sound in English. It's like a. It comes from the gut. Okay, like a table. Okay, ago. It's not a table. Don't read it like the alphabet. That's gonna affect your flow, your fluency. Number 7. That's the sounds. This one has a slight difference from British and American. Like American, it's more like like the British is really close to a schwa, like okay, so it's as in her, so we pronounce it as American. Number 8, this one is o, as in saw. Number 9, that sound is not a and it's not a e. It's between the two. It's a It's a just long like you say hat. Don't say hat. Say, or don't say hat. Say hat. Number 9, as in hat. Number 10. Number 10 is that symbol, the upside down V is the comes from the throat. You open your mouth, like up. Okay, so as in butt. Number 11. Whenever you see those 2 points, they call them colon in English. Those 2 points, you can use an R. I think Americans, they use R instead of the 2 points, so it's like AR, right? So number 11, R as in car. Number 12. Number 12 is an interesting sound. British they use that a lot. It's the O sounds, like in hot. But Americans, they use the upside down V there. They would say hot. Okay, it's hot. Okay, but the British would say hot. Number 13. Number 13 is ear sounds. That's one of those sounds the Americans do not use. They say it when they speak, but it's not represented in their chart. So ear, okay, ear. Number 14, as in pure. Number 15, air, as in air. Another sound that's not represented in the North American chart, but we still say it, but it's just not represented. Number 16, A, as in say. All right, that's the long A, right? Like table. A as in say. Number 17, oi. Okay, O-Y, O-I, usually pronounce oi, as in boy. Number 18, I. That's the long sound for I, right? It's represented in the IPA by AI. I as in by. Number 19, strange symbol for O. You'd say it should be simple, but that's how they represent that. O as in so. Number 20, ow. O-W and O-U usually have the ow sound. Remember, the Americans do not call W like that for nothing, because it could be double V as in French and Spanish, double V. So it's W, they see W as a U. Okay, they keep the name, although it used to be 2 U's before, right? So whenever you say O-W, O-U, they usually have the same sound. So ow, now. Okay, that's it. These are the 20 vowel sounds. Just simple introduction. We'll create a video for each one of them. Here we go. Now, the consonants are the same for the British and the Americans. They have the same numbers. You have 8 pairs of voiced and voiceless consonants, and then 8 other consonants. That's 24. All right, plus the 20, which gives you the total 44. Now, number 21, P, as in pen. So it's a voiceless, as you can see the color indicates it, right? And number 22 will be the voiced one, B, as in book. 23, T, as in tea. 24. D as in day. 25. Ch as in chair. Voiceless. 26. J as in jam. 27. K as in key. 28. G as in go. 29. F as in four. Voiceless. 30. V as in very. 31. Th as in thin. 32. Th as in that. Closer to a soft D than anything else, as in that, but it's that. 33. S as in sun. 34. Z as in zoo. 35. Sh as in she. 36. J as in vision. Now the regular ones. M as in man. N as in no. Ng as in sing. H as in hat. U as in look. As in red. W as in what? And Y as in yes. Watch out. When you're in IPA and you see the J sounds, it's the symbol for the Y sound. Okay? If you really love English as much as we do, you know what to do.
Yeah!